So, my sharing this time is something extremely simple, something we do all the time. Just filling the gaps. Now, what do I mean by filling the gaps? In our lives, there are always times when we are focused and we are doing something, whether we like to do it or we don't like to do it. And that keeps us preoccupied and busy, very busy. So we have no time to think about what else could be happening. But there are times when there is nothing. It is a gap. It is a space in time in our lives that has nothing within it. We are empty. When this happens, what do we do in the physical life? We fill the gap because we cannot stand total nothing. Our ego, our general ego, doesn't understand total nothing. So it looks to fill the gaps. Say, if there was a time that there was a gap, you would go play a baseball game to keep you preoccupied. Go watch a baseball game to keep you preoccupied. Meet a girl. Have a family. Anything so that there is not a void, because your ego cannot stand a void. It cannot stand a gap. So it fills those gaps. Now, there's nothing wrong with filling the gaps as long as you're living in a physical life and your complete desire is the physical life. But when you've made a decision to find the spiritual, when you've made a definite commitment that the spiritual is where you want to go. You want to get to your third center. You want to get to the spiritual life that is within us. That is when you realize filling the gaps is not necessary. Filling the gaps is the threshold to the second center and to the third center. It is the threshold to understanding what the spirit and what in turn the physical life is all about. The physical life is about the physical completely. Now you'll have to take a little thought with me. Just imagine that this is how you also believe. When we were first created in the spirit, we felt we were stronger than God. In feeling that way, now remember, you don't have to believe this. I'm just asking you to go along with this thought process for a minute. When we realized that we were wrong, when we realized that we denied God, we had to find somewhere to live. So therefore we created the spirit. We created, because we are higher than the spirit, but we were originally created in God's image. That I cannot explain to you. So when we created the spirit, we became interested in the physical. And we created, the physical was here, but we created the physical existence we now know to give us somewhere to live. if you keep following this, you'll understand that this is a lesson ground to learn lessons so we can go back to the third center and back to the Spirit and back to God as we were originally created. So if you take this thought and you just process it for a second, don't have to believe it, just see it from that angle. We are in this physical world to learn how we made our mistakes when we denied God. In this world, things take time. In the world that we were created, there is no such thing as time. But here we have the time to watch something unfold. We have the time to watch the reality come through our effort. But we have to make an effort. It is not just a thought and a happening. It is an effort by us. So when we're in this physical, we keep ourselves preoccupied. That's why we created the general ego that drives us forward. And as we drive forward, everything is fine. In childhood, there are no gaps. Basically, too much physical energy. But as you mature, the gaps will come. Usually at an early age, 11, 12, 13, and above. Some never realize that, but you will realize it in this lifetime, that there are gaps. And those gaps are part of the learning process to allow your spirit to emerge, to allow general ego to lay back and the spirit to come forward. But if you don't use the gaps for that, if you use the gaps mostly out of fear of nothingness, again, you will miss an opportunity to learn about the Spirit. You'll miss what is a fabulous opportunity to go within yourself. Now, how can I say that? I'll tell you. I physically have done practically everything you could imagine. What I mean by that, I mean everything. If I made a list, you probably wouldn't believe it. But doing all this, I was filling my gaps with many different things until I finally realized that the gaps are there for me to learn about the Spirit, not to learn more about the physical. Not to continue with the physical life, but to withdraw from the physical life and become spiritual and allow the Spirit to fly and allow the Spirit to be strong. Now, to do this, you have to actually purposely allow a gap. And that can be done. And that can be done by everyone. And in my next sharing, I will name it Allowing Gaps. And basically, it will give you the blueprint of how to allow a gap. Because if you allow it, you will understand it, you will understand it, and you will understand it. If I tell you, it will not happen. It has to come from you, because only you are responsible